the healing power of listening. Awaken your mind and elevate your vibration. The invitation to deep listening. Have you ever truly listened? Not just to words, but to the silence between them. Not just to a sound, but to the vibration behind it? In this moment, I invite you to pause. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Close your eyes, if it feels safe to do so, and hear the sound of your own breath. It's there, steady, rhythmic, anchoring you to this present moment. Yet, how often do you listen to it? How often do you listen to yourself? The world is filled with noise. There's the external clamor, the cars, the notifications, the hum of life constantly moving around us. And then there's the internal noise. Our thoughts, worries, judgments, fears. But beneath all that, there is a deeper rhythm, a more profound song that most of us have forgotten how to hear. Listening is not about hearing sounds. It's about opening yourself up to the truth of the moment. When was the last time you truly felt heard? Think of that moment. When someone sat with you, fully present, their eyes meeting yours, their silence creating space for your words to unfold. How did it feel? Was it healing, comforting, or transformative? Listening, real listening, is the most generous act of love you can offer. It's the doorway to understanding, to connection, and ultimately, to healing. But here's the paradox. Before you can listen to others, you must first learn to listen to yourself. What are the stories you tell yourself every day? Are they kind? Are they empowering? Or are they filled with self-doubt, criticism, and fear? We don't listen because we're afraid of what we might hear. The voice within us often speaks truths we're not ready to confront. You're not living your purpose. You're holding on to pain. You're avoiding growth. These whispers can be uncomfortable, even painful. But what if those whispers are not your enemy? What if they are guides, gently pointing you back to your path? When I speak of listening, I'm not asking you to analyze or fix. I'm asking you to be present, to sit with yourself as you are, without judgment or distraction. Can you do that? Can you simply observe your thoughts as they arise, like clouds drifting across the sky? Can you let go of the need to label them as good or bad, right or wrong? Here's a question for you to ponder deeply. If you stopped running from silence, what might it reveal? The healing power of listening begins with silence, with creating a space where truth can emerge. In this space, you start to notice things you've missed. The subtle tensions in your body, the undercurrents of your emotions, the longings of your soul. You begin to see that every moment, every sound, every interaction is alive with meaning. When you truly listen, you become attuned to the vibrations of life. You start to hear the pain behind someone's harsh words, the fear behind their anger. You notice the joy in their laughter, the gratitude in their quiet thank you. Listening transforms relationships because it allows us to see each other as we are, not as projections, but as souls seeking connection. But let's not romanticize this journey. Listening is hard. It requires courage. It demands that we set aside our egos, our agendas, and our need to be right. It means being vulnerable, open to the possibility of being changed by what we hear. Are you ready for that? Are you willing to let go of your need to control the narrative and simply receive what the moment offers? As we explore this topic further, I encourage you to practice a simple exercise. Find a quiet space and sit with yourself for 5 minutes. No phone, no distractions, just you and your breath. Listen to the thoughts that arise, the sensations in your body, the emotions that surface. Don't judge them. Don't try to change them. Just listen. What did you hear? Unlocking the frequencies of the universe through presence. When we think of listening, we often limit it to the ears. But the act of listening extends far beyond the auditory. It is a full-body, full-soul experience. It is the way we attune ourselves to the vibrations of the universe, to the unspoken truths that ripple through our lives. The question is not whether these vibrations exist. The question is whether we are present enough to feel them. Presence is the key to unlocking these frequencies. It's the state of being fully here, in this moment, without the distractions of past regrets or future anxieties. But presence is not something we achieve overnight. It is cultivated, like a garden, with care and patience. And it begins with listening. Have you ever walked into a forest and felt its silence? Not the absence of sound, but the rich, vibrant stillness that seems to hum with life? That is presence. The forest listens. It listens to the wind moving through its leaves, to the rain nourishing its roots, to the footsteps of creatures passing through. It is alive with awareness, and in its presence, we are reminded of our own. But what does it mean for you to be present? It means letting go of the stories your mind constantly spins. It means turning your focus outward, to the world around you, and inward, to the essence of your being. In presence, we find clarity. We realize that much of our suffering comes not from the events of our lives, but from the way we interpret them. Here's a deep question for you. When was the last time you experienced a moment so fully that you forgot yourself? When we listen with presence, we dissolve the barriers between ourselves and the world. We stop seeing life as something happening to us and start experiencing it as something we are part of. Listening becomes an act of communion with others, with nature, with the divine. But presence is not passive, it is active, dynamic, alive. When you listen with presence, you become like a tuning fork, resonating with the vibrations around you. You begin to notice the subtleties, the slight tremor in someone's voice, the way their eyes flicker when they speak, the pauses that carry more weight than their words. In these moments, you are not just hearing, you are understanding. Listening with presence transforms the mundane into the sacred. The sound of a child laughing, the rustling of leaves, the rhythm of waves, all these become reminders of the interconnectedness of life. They remind us that we are not isolated beings, but part of a vast, intricate web of existence. But how do we cultivate this kind of presence in a world that pulls us in 1,000 directions? The answer lies in simplicity. Start small. Begin by giving your full attention to the next person you speak to. Put down your phone, silence your thoughts, and truly listen. Notice how they speak, not just what they say. Notice the energy behind their words. Next, practice being present with yourself. Set aside time each day to sit in stillness. Listen to your breath, to your heartbeat, to the sensations in your body. At first, your mind will resist. It will chatter, distract, and pull you away. But with practice, you will learn to gently bring it back to the present moment. Presence is a practice of trust. Trust in yourself, in the moment, and in the universe. It is an act of surrender, of letting go of control and allowing life to unfold as it will. And in this surrender, we find freedom. Here's another question for you to ponder. What would your life look like if you approached each moment as though it were sacred? As you deepen your practice of presence, you will begin to notice a shift. The world will seem more vibrant, more alive. You will feel more connected, not just to others, but to yourself. And in this connection, you will discover a profound sense of peace. This is the healing power of listening. It is the doorway to presence, to connection, and to transformation. And as we step through this doorway, we unlock the deeper frequencies of the universe, the frequencies of love, compassion, and unity. Becoming a conduit for divine resonance. As we deepen our exploration of listening, presence, and connection, we arrive at a profound truth. To listen deeply is to align ourselves with the divine. When we tune in with intention and presence, we become conduits for a greater resonance, a vibration that transcends the limitations of our individual selves. This is where the healing power of listening evolves into a spiritual practice, a way of being that connects us to the universe and its infinite wisdom. What does it mean to become a conduit for divine resonance? It means opening yourself fully to the flow of life, letting go of resistance, and allowing the vibrations of love, compassion, and truth to move through you. It is a state of surrender, not of defeat, but of trust. Trust that the universe is speaking to you, through you, and for you, if only you would listen. Consider this. Every sound, every word, every silence carries a vibration. When you listen deeply, you are not just hearing, you are receiving. You are allowing the energy of the moment to enter you, to transform you. This is not a passive act. It is an active engagement with the divine. But here's the challenge. Are you willing to empty yourself so that you can be filled with something greater? To become a conduit for divine resonance, we must first clear the static of our lives, the noise of fear, judgment, and distraction. This requires inner work. It means confronting the parts of ourselves that resist listening, the parts that cling to control, the parts that fear vulnerability. It is in this confrontation that healing begins. Healing, in its truest sense, is not about fixing what is broken. It is about returning to wholeness, to the state of harmony that is our natural condition. And listening is the path to this harmony. When we listen, we align ourselves with the rhythms of the universe, the rhythms of breath, of heartbeats, of tides and seasons. Imagine this. Your body, your mind, your spirit are like an instrument. When tuned, they resonate beautifully with the symphony of life, but when out of tune, they create discord, both within you and around you. Listening is the act of tuning yourself, of aligning your vibration with the divine frequency. Let me ask you, what areas of your life feel out of tune, and what would it take to bring them back into harmony? As you listen more deeply, you will begin to notice the subtle ways in which the divine speaks to you. It may come as a whisper in your heart, a synchronicity, a feeling of peace that arises unexpectedly. These are not coincidences, they are invitations, calls to align yourself more fully with the divine. And as you respond to these calls, something extraordinary happens. You begin to see the divine not just in the extraordinary, but in the ordinary. In the smile of a stranger, the rustling of leaves, the stillness of a quiet moment. Everything becomes sacred. Everything becomes a teacher. To become a conduit for divine resonance is also to become a healer, not in the sense of fixing others, but in the sense of holding space for their transformation. When you listen deeply to someone, you create a space where they feel seen, heard, and valued. In this space, healing naturally occurs. But here's the deeper question. Are you willing to be that space for yourself? Most of us are quick to offer compassion to others but hesitate to extend it to ourselves. Yet, to heal others, we must first heal ourselves. To listen deeply to others, we must first listen deeply to ourselves. This is the paradox and the beauty of the path. As we heal, we become healers. As we listen, we become the resonance that others seek. In this state of resonance, you are not just a listener, you are a participant in the divine symphony. Your vibration affects the world around you. Your presence becomes a blessing, your words a balm, your silence a sanctuary. This is the power of listening. It is not just a skill, it is a way of being. It is the path to awakening, to connection, to love. And it begins with you. So I ask you, as we close this exploration, how will you listen differently, starting today? What will you attune yourself to? And how will you allow the divine resonance to move through you, and to heal the world? The answers lie not in what you say, but in how you listen.